I ended up having COPD. And
Oh,
I actually had an episode where I needed to go to the emergency room. And I pride myself for being healthy, even though I smoke,
yeah.
because I'm on a very healthy diet. And I'm saying, okay, the cigarettes have got to stop because they really and truly are going against my health big time. So that's when I knew the cigarettes had to stop.
Hi everyone, this is Nasya Davos, and welcome to this episode of Ask an Ex. The ex I have with me today joined our CBQ Method program and quit smoking 3 years ago after smoking for 45 years, and she's here to tell you how she did it. Please welcome Robin Redmond. Hi Robin, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Pleasure. So you have been a non-smoker for 3 whole years now, 15th of June 2017.
Yes, that's correct.
Congratulations, this is an extraordinary achievement.
Thank you for the recognition.
Of course, you deserve it. So tell me a bit about your life as a smoker. How did you start smoking? How much did you smoke?
I started when I was 15 years old, um, many years ago. Back in those days, just about almost everybody smoked. And you really didn't think a thing of it. You just started smoking and you smoked, But then as time went on, we learned more and more about how bad it is for you. And the more I learned about how bad it is for you, the longer I've been smoking and the more difficult it would be to quit. So I sort of just kept going, tried to quit a few times. Um, then I found Nazia's program, and the biggest thing that attracted me to it is that nothing was used. No drugs,
Mhm.
no patches, no pills, no gums. So I wasn't trading one habit for another because I know if you use something to quit smoking, you're liable to switch from your smoking habit to some other habit. So I figured, well, I like smoking more than I like chewing gum or taking pills. So I just keep going. But then I saw this program and I joined it because it changes you from having a bad habit to not having a bad habit. And that's me added up a whole lot better.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. This is
Sure.
great. So you were smoking for 45 years.
Yeah.
And you said you've been wanting to quit when you were learning how bad it is for you. But what was the thing that made you say, okay, that's it. I'm gonna try and I'm gonna become a non-smoker?
Um, Declining health. I ended up having COPD.
Oh,
And I actually had an episode where I needed to go to the emergency room. And I pride myself for being healthy, even though I smoke,
yeah.
because I'm on a very healthy diet. And I'm saying, okay, the cigarettes have got to stop because they really and truly are going against my health big time. So that's when I knew the cigarettes had to stop.
Wow, that's a shocking experience having to go to the emergency room and like it's nothing is the same after that, right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I knew my smoking days were numbered.
Okay. And from the moment you decided to quit, do you remember how many quit attempts you did?
Oh, probably like about 2 or 3.
Hmm.
They gave me the patch and this and that and the other thing, you know.
But it didn't work out.
No, no, that didn't work out.
And then I know you joined our program and you succeeded. But what part of the program helped you the most?
When you had to write down why you were smoking,
Mm.
that helped me to really organize it and to know which cigarettes to cut back on because I knew that the first ones that could go most easily were when I wrote down, I'm smoking this cigarette because it's out of habit. I usually,
Mm.
smoke at this time anyway. So since I wasn't smoking that because I had a nicotine craving, I knew that that was one of the earlier cigarettes that could be cut back on and left out. You
Smart.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, helped me cut down and cut down and cut down, and I knew which cigarettes were the ones that I was most addicted to. Of course, those were the last ones, but at least that helped me organize it. Sometimes you need to be helped on how to organize something. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. So cutting down gradually helped you
Yeah,
organize your quit attempt and also get some confidence, right, from cutting off many of the cigarettes.
absolutely.
Yeah. So how much you were smoking per day on average?
An average of a pack a day.
Okay, great. And congratulations again. This is great, Robin. So, which were you mentioned that some cigarettes that you were the most addicted to, they were the last to go. Which ones were those cigarettes? Which triggers were the strongest for you?
The cigarette with my coffee after my evening meal,
These two.
the last to go.
So, and I remember you made a comment on the Facebook, and you said that you were the most worried about your morning cigarette with your coffee. You thought that this was going to be the hardest one after you quit.
It turned out in the end to be the one um after supper with my coffee.
Mm, okay. And when you quit smoking, how did you manage those triggers?
Well, at first I just had to keep changing the subject, redirecting my thoughts and things like that. Because I'm not gonna lie, I smoked a lot of years and I really miss my ciggy wiggies, in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I'm just so glad I don't smoke because I don't have to take any medicine for COPD. I have
Wow.
nothing. They gave me a rescue inhaler for the first year, and after I told the nurse practitioner that I don't use it, she said that it wouldn't be necessary to give me another prescription for it, and she just let it ride. Yeah.
That's so impressive.
So that will make me never smoke again because I'll know that I won't have bad health due to the fact that I smoke.
Yeah, that's a powerful motivation. So you had early onset of COPD, which is a
Yes.
non-reversible condition, right? But
No, it's not, but it's not going to get worse, they told me.
exactly,
Thank
exactly,
God.
which is fantastic. Well done, well done. And I wanted to ask you, how has your life and your health changed since you quit smoking 3 years ago?
I'm much healthier. Um, I get better reports, on my checkups, and I don't get sick every 6 weeks.
Yeah, better immune system.
Yeah, I have a better immune system, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah.
And that's fantastic. And when it comes to, everyday activities or everyday, the little things, have you noticed any differences since you quit smoking, like your energy or freedom, just anything?
Yeah, I feel really happy to not be a slave to an addiction. Like I don't have this boss telling me it's time to spend my money and buy cigarettes, and then it's time to smoke them, and I have to find a way to leave the area to go out and have a cigarette. I don't have to do that. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I have freedom instead of being a slave to an addiction.
Yes, yes, yeah. Because when we are addicted, we have to organize our life around those cravings.
Absolutely. I remember those days.
Yeah, yeah.
I noticed that I don't miss it. I forget that I ever smoked. You know, it's like a distant memory. It's not a
Yeah.
part of me, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's just part of my history.
Yes, I love the way you said that. It's
Oh, thank
just,
you.
yeah, very nice. It's part of your history. It's part of a past version of yourself, but it's
That's
not who
right.
you are right now. Yeah, yeah. And this is so important because many people and all ex-smokers have been in that position, but many smokers right now, they believe that if they quit smoking, they're going to be miserable and so unhappy, and life will be worse than ever before, and they're going to miss it all the time. And that's why it's so important when you hear from someone who has been smoke free for 3 years that it gets better and it gets life gets great actually.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So now looking back to when you were a smoker, do you still find benefits in smoking?
Um, Actually, I think I was fooling myself because now that I think of it,
Hmm.
anything I've gone through, and I've gone through a lot of things, it would not have been better if I could smoke. It wouldn't have been easier to go through aggravation,
Yeah.
or whereas when I was a smoker, I'm like, oh, thank God for cigarettes. But then I found out you don't even need them.
Yes, they just take the credit for everything you have achieved
Oh,
because they're
actually,
always
yeah.
there.
Don't they ever, the little devils?
Yes, yes, I know it's true because when we smoke and because cigarettes are always there all the time, we think, oh, I did that because the cigarettes helped me, or I kept my temper because the cigarettes helped me. But cigarettes were just there, they added no value. So it's
Yeah,
great to,
that's right. They were there taking all the credit. Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's a way to put that.
yes, and they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
They don't. So yeah, you're right about that. You could have done everything as a non-smoker, but great that you're realizing it now. This is your safety blanket, and it's gonna keep you free, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes. So, where throughout these 3 years, were there any moments that you felt tempted to relapse?
Um, yeah,
Hmm.
the 2 years, but I also was noticing health improvements, and I didn't want to ruin that. I
Yeah.
didn't want to end up having to take a spray to help me breathe or go on oxygen, so that made me stop any idea of sneaking a cigarette.
And I like that you said stop any idea because it is an idea, it's a thought. And when you stop the thought, then um, you don't crave it and you don't go buy it. So, yeah,
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah. So, the idea of the inhaler and being on oxygen, these ideas were powerful enough for you to say, no, I'm not going to smoke. I'm not doing this. Are,
Absolutely.
were there any other ideas that um, helped you overcome those tempting moments, if you can remember?
Yes. Well, I'll be retiring in the not too distant future,
Mhm.
and the fact that I don't have to appropriate money for cigarettes, that is a great motivator.
Yeah.
I could probably use that to shop on Amazon,
Yeah,
instead of buy cigarettes. That stops me from smoking too.
very, very important. And this
Oh
goes
yeah,
under, yeah, this goes under the freedom. You're free
yeah.
to spend your money the way you want to, not having to buy cigarettes.
Oh, yep, yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And you told me before, like you have a stressful job. So I want your advice on this. How do you manage stress as a non-smoker? Because this is a big one, right?
Oh, at work when the numbers don't balance, that's what God created curse words for. At least that's what I think. Oh
Oh
yeah, I've enhanced the vocabulary of my whole workplace, trust me.
my God. Is there anything else that helps you when you feel stressed?
Well, actually, so when I calm down and I go over things, I
Yeah.
know that I'm gonna be able to set them straight.
Mm.
So I actually, just feel better by calming down and going over everything, in a sane way.
Mm,
Then, I feel a lot better. Thank
yeah,
God it doesn't happen that often.
that that's great. And so is there anything that helps you calm down, or you just give it some time?
Basically, just give it some time, switch over to another activity, go take a short walk or something like that and come back. Maybe go talk to somebody, that helps too.
Yeah,
I find those things to be helpful too.
yeah.
Yep.
These are great, great tips. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing this. Yeah, very nice. So we know, I mean, I used to smoke as well, so we know that quitting smoking is one of the most important achievements in someone's life. Do you agree?
I agree. Yeah,
I
I
agree too.
absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, and it teaches us a lot of things about ourselves.
Yeah, it does.
So I want to ask you personally, what did quitting smoking teach you?
That we can do things that we think we're not capable of if we put our mind to it.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And have you, um, since you achieved that goal, have you noticed any um, increased confidence, more resilience, any of those things? Has this impacted your life?
Yes, I tend to take on things that are a little more difficult than I would attempt in the past.
Wow,
Yep, that's for sure. Yep.
that's a
That-
big thing.
Yep.
But fantastic, Robin. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So I have one last question.
Yep.
What advice would you give to someone who is struggling to succeed, or they believe that they cannot do it and it's impossible for them? What would you say to that person?
To persist, to don't give up if any failures happen, because God knows I've had to try and try again. And to realize that you are not going to be miserable for the rest of your life. You are going to feel, you're probably going to feel that way for a while, but that will go away. Rest assured that will go away and life will improve greatly. And so,
Fantastic.
yes, it's
Great. Thank you so much for sharing this. That's great advice for everyone.
thank you.
And thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and your journey. It's so inspiring to hear from someone who has been a happy non-smoker for so long. So
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
pleasure, and I know this will help many people who are watching this right now, and it will show them that life is great without cigarettes and that they can do it too. So thank you, and if you are here watching this video, leave a comment below and let Robin and I know what you're taking away from her experience that can help you. And again, Robin, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for being here with us. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.